Hi, kids. Do you like violence? Want to copy him and do exactly like I did? Hi, Paul.
Hi.
You're looking very Eminem today, my friend.
Oh, thank you. Oh, you mean the hoodie?
The whole thing, man. Everything's Eminem-ish.
Yeah.
Eminem.
I don't know, man. Like the the night before Christmas. I don't know if Eminem would sport a hoodie like that, but yeah,
Yeah. So
perhaps. Does he
we're
wear
not
glasses?
here
No.
for rap. We're not here for rock. We're not here for anything but that John Williams. Brr, 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 brr. We got to start there. They kept the music. They updated it, but it's the same song. I don't think that they can be eligible for the award for best score, but so what? This is Superman. We needed that music.
Yep, I agree. The undertones were there. I think I would have appreciated, and we can get into it if you want to talk about it later. If you have like a non-spoiler section, a spoiler section, or
No, let's
whatever.
just do spoilers. Everything's
Um,
spoilers.
yeah, right. Like I feel like the movie it had the undertones. I think it could have been utilized a lot more. And I feel like that end scene where he's like he put on a message from his parents. He likes that, right? And they show the Kents at the end, right? While he's chilling. I feel like if they had put the original score in there, they would have got the emotional beat. Like it would have made people cry. I feel like at the end of that film, if
You
if
mean if they waited the whole movie and then we heard the John Williams
No,
classic?
no, 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 no. I feel like, well, they kind of updated, as you said, throughout the movie, but like if they put the original score
Oh,
in, where like the low undertones of it, like not the full amped up version, like from the trailer, from like the opening cinematic from the original Superman. But if they had put that like lower theme when he's looking around and watching himself as a boy being raised by his father, like his Earth mum and father, I feel like that would have really, I think it was a missed opportunity for Gunn to get a really huge emotional like end to the movie where like his real parents raised him to love humanity. Like because we know in this movie they change a little bit of his origin in that the elves want him to dominate the planet. And we still don't know. Lex says it's real. The message is really translated that way. We still don't know. I feel like when Kara like
her message
she's
was to
in
come in and
yeah,
invade.
yeah, so I feel like when Kara like comes more into it, I feel like we'll see that that message was crap. Like Lex made it up, or the she like misinterpreted or whatever to say what he wanted it to say. I feel like it's gonna be, and a lot of people I think will disagree with me with that because it is a focus of his reasoning on the after that happens. There's a lot of emotional fallout from that when he learns what the message actually says
Mhm.
or says. But yeah, I feel like going back to the score, I feel like they missed that emotional beat at the end. They could have done that, but for the most part, it did. I feel like it was updated. It was good. They kept it in like the what's renowned as the best scene in the movie when he beats Ultraman, right? And he flies up and he spins around, and they do that kind of aura shot, and they amp the music up. I feel like that could have been a lot more like score behind that, but they don't really utilize it. They just want to get to the next part, and I feel like that's also a low negative of this film is they really don't stop. Like they have a
Mhm.
lot of conflicting scenes going on within the movie, which we'll get into. But yeah, they're my other thoughts on the score. I agree. They kept the score, which is good. We needed that. It was emotive. It gave the people who love the original Superman films that nostalgia, but
Mhm.
it also updated it for a modern audience, and I think that's a good thing.
I'll add to that point that we don't know if Superman's real parents, the biological ones, if those guys sent this message, but James Gunn is going to lie to us. He's going to taste the temperature. How? What are the fans saying? Are they saying this is preposterous and that it couldn't be his origin? Well, then I'm going to do an interview and I'm going to say, "Hey guys, Lex Luthor is a villain and he lies, guys. Of course he switched it up and he changed it. He paid all of those translation experts to lie. All we got is Mr. Terrific saying, "Oh, if you got 30 of the professionals, then they wouldn't be telling a lie." That's what Mr. Terrific said. Not that Mr. Terrific firsthand analyzed it, right? That could be the first
Yeah,
scene of Superman 2, the sequel. It could be Mr.
or
Terrific going
Supergirl because I think Supergirl's next, isn't it? They're doing
next year.
Supergirl next. Yeah, so I think it could be possible that they because yeah, you're right. Her father wanted Kara to dominate the Earth and look after her cousin. So like and raise him in that way of Krypton. So yeah, it's that kind of I do agree there is a possibility for James Gunn. I don't know if he planned it that way, but I feel like he
Yeah, he
has
planned
an
it that way.
out.
Of
He
course he
has
did.
an out. Like he has an out if the audience is like. But to what else? When I've looked online, a lot of people who are okay with this modern take, right? A lot of people are like, no, that involves that serves his character in the story, and they don't care about it. Like, and even I talked to Mike about it, and he was like, "Yeah, no, it served the purpose of the story. He didn't really care too much about it either." So there are traditional Superman fans that don't really care about that that difference.
I don't think you play with the origins. Most superheroes I prefer stick to as accurate. Then you can get creative later on, but make sure that who they are from the beginning is the right origin.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I feel like if you're going to start it out differently to what we've had before, as much as I do not want to, I don't want to compare it to the Supermen that have come before. If I'm going to compare it, I'm going to compare it to the first Christopher Reeve Superman. I'm not going to compare it to how I feel about the previous 10 years of DC. So, like, it's well stated. People know what I feel about this. So, I'm not going to compare it to that because I don't care to talk about that universe. Um, I feel like it should be forgotten. That's what I think about the last 10 years. But what I will say is, apart from stuff like Blue Beetle and The Suicide Squad, I feel like
Peacemaker.
Peacemaker is another one, which makes a cameo in this movie, which
Yeah,
is
no one
kind of
leaked that. I
funny.
was so surprised to
Yeah,
see that he was
yeah,
in this.
yeah. He's in it for like maybe 2 seconds, 3 seconds, like making some comment about Superman, making some joke about him, being an alien from outer space or whatever. But like, yeah, I feel like you tell me if you think this is true. I feel like some people are reading things into this movie, uh, or statements that the director writer, who is James Gunn, is trying to make about the current world. I don't
The
think that's
monkeys.
accurate.
You don't think the monkeys
I
was a
think
thing?
I think the monkeys are a thing. I think they're a statement against people like Grace Randolph and people that make up crap about him all the time. That he said certain things and he hasn't. He has to directly contradict them on Twitter and
Yeah.
go, "No, I didn't say that. No, that doesn't happen in my movie, etc." These scoopsters that make up trash to get attention. I feel like that could be it, and the Twitter trolls certainly. But like, I'm talking about world events and stuff. Like, there's people that are like trying to gear up both and they're doing it on both sides of politics. And I feel like, no, I don't think that that's true. As much as people want it to be that way, sometimes a
Wait,
movie
you
can
could
be
say I think you're
apolitical.
talking about Jahanpur and Boravia being Israel Palestine. Is that what you mean?
Well, I actually thought of Russia and Ukraine when I
Or they
watched
said
the
Eastern Europe.
movie. Yeah, so that's why. And the guy that he reminded me of Putin, the head of the country, like the way he dressed was very Russian and stuff. Like, so I was like, I thought of Ukraine, but I was like, at the same time, when I walked out and I saw people going, "Oh, Israel, Palestine, blah blah," blah, I was like, no. Sometimes movies can just have a conflict. Why we have this thing in our minds in humanity where we want to compare it to modern stuff that's happening. And I feel like sometimes, even if he was making a political statement with this movie, which I don't think he was, to be honest, because otherwise it would have been way throughout the entire film. I feel like if it's a political statement, you find threads of it everywhere, not just in one particular conflict that Superman's around. And that conflict's happening because he needs to interfere to stop a war and or conquering or whatever you want to call it, and that brings Superman into conflict with the United States and the rest of the world being like acting on behalf of the USA or whatever. I feel like that, yeah, people seem to want to relate this stuff to external conflicts that we see in the world, which is a human thing to do, really. We're like, oh, they're trying to say this. I think sometimes movies can just be movies and they don't have to be political, they can just be apolitical. And for the most part, this movie is about hope. It's about making Superman full of hope. I mean, in the movie, he saves a freaking squirrel, Jill. Like, he saves
I
a
love that.
squirrel in the middle of a battle. Like, he cares about he when that kaiju thing is killed, he gets really upset about it. He's like, I wanted to take it to a place to be studied. Like, you didn't have to kill it so violently. He cares about life, all life. And this is what Superman should be. He should care about life, all different kinds of life. He should be looking. He's the big blue Boy Scout. He's the hope. Like, that's what he was written as. That's why even in another review, Chris Stuckman's review, he talks about how this is very much like the animated Superman series. So if you like that, you're going to like this movie because it's a light take on Superman. It's him doing things because he, like that whole thing in the trailer, right? Even though we're spoiling, that whole thing in the trailer where he's arguing with Lois about, I did what's right. I saved people. That's what I'm here to do. That's Superman, right? Dude, that part when he's fighting the kaiju and he punches it in the face and it falls back towards the building and he goes around and stops it from smack, and then he turns around and goes, "You guys good? You okay?" You would never. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to compare it. You'll never see Henry Cavill Superman do that ever. You'd never see him do that ever.
That's your last Snyder mention this time, okay? That's the last one.
But that's what I'm saying is like that's the difference. Is we're getting a Superman that wants to save everything, right? He wants the best in humanity, and that's what Superman actually is. He doesn't need to be deconstructed. He doesn't need to be like wrestling with these moral dilemmas of whether the world needs Superman. No, he is there. He is Superman. He's established. But yeah, I've talked a lot. But like that's what I think about this movie. Is like that's why I walked out of the movie. Like I cried twice in this movie. There were two parts. One I cried. One part I got really teary in. And it was it emotionally drew me in because I was like, because I love Superman. I love Superman as a character. I have comics of Superman, right?
Yeah.
And to see Superman, and I agree with Dylan because he said this to me the other night. This is
I don't recognize Dylan. You got to use his real name.
Pickle, whatever. Still, it's like a pickle. This is my Superman. Yes, Christopher Reeves had his time. It's good. I don't go back to this movie. When I go back to this movie, this is going to be my Superman. This is the Superman that I've wanted to see for years. The modern take of Superman.
What about Peacemaker?
My money stacked fat, plus I can't turn the swell off. The franchise doing big business.
We got a Tank Kramer $10 super duper chat. Can't stay, but I will check out the replay. I love the new DCU Superman. 8.5 out of 10. That's a great score.
That's around my rating. That would be my rating of it. It was like I walked out with an 8 out of 10 rating. Yeah.
I'd go up to 9 out of 10, maybe even 10 out of 10. I just have to think about the imperfection. I loved it. Oh yeah, I was very into this movie.
You loved it. I've talked a lot. I want to hear what you have to say about the film.
I want to touch on everything you just said.
Flaws?
One of the things you said was the actually wait, time out. Israel Palestine. I plan on doing like a individual video on that, and I disagree with what you said. I do think it was that, and I'll just like point out all the multiple times that it was referenced. But the intergalactic zoo that he just mentioned, this huge kaiju should have gone to. I'm thinking like that's a weird thing to say because this is the first movie we haven't seen them establish the intergalactic zoo, but that's the point of this first movie. We are already in like the superhero, the surprises, metahumans. That's happened. We're there. There's no need for these explanations. There's a Hall of Justice. Okay, cool. We just haven't had our Justice League, and I don't think there's a Watchtower. But other than that, we have set everything. The Fortress of Solitude, we're good. We never need to introduce any of that. And it's so rewarding as a longtime fan to get that. And we just get a freaking movie, which takes place in the span of 3 days, maybe. He went to sleep at Smallville. He went to sleep there. So it went to nighttime. It turned to daytime. It also was nighttime when Green Lantern was facing that like tentacle monster. It was nighttime there. So 3 days, I think. It
was maybe four days, maybe at the most. Yeah.
Same week. The whole movie happens within the week, and that's a cool touch. Pocket universes and black holes. Oh my god.
Dude, that's so out of Lex. That is a Lex Luthor thing. Like that is straight out of like what he does. Like this shady stuff. And dude, like Nicholas Hoult, I knew it was so bad. When I saw that casting, I was like, he is the best DC villain casting since Heath Ledger as the Joker, and he pulled it off.
I didn't know. Bro, I wasn't ready.
Yeah, dude, he is a great actor. This is why he got paid. Like people are like, each of them got paid like $750K or whatever, and he got paid $2 million for this movie. And there's a reason why he got paid $2 million, because he has a huge roster of movies behind him in different ways that he has acted, and he brings them to scale in this. He is petty as Lex can be, but he's also maniacal. He's intimidating. There's that scene with the revolver where he straight up kills that guy just by helping him get up that one time. Like he straight up murders him in front of him, and then he's like, "I'm going to get that reporter you do all the things with too. Maybe you'll tell me, who your parents are,
Clark.
Like for that." It's all. It's so like, and that Clark. We're going to get Clark, and like all of that.
I thought he was talking
so
about his
good.
girl Lois. I was actually
And
surprised
he's
to
talking
hear,
about Clark. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Like he's like, when you go get Clark, I'm like, you already have him, you idiot.
because
But
those
yeah,
glasses
no,
are hypnotic. It's confirmed. Those glasses, when you put them on,
yeah,
it makes you forget.
they fixed this issue that everyone was complaining about. Oh, how they're not going to know that he is Clark? It's silly. It's a silly thing from like the when he was invented in the
Nope,
comics.
it
It made
wasn't
sense
silly.
back then.
I like it.
But now they've gone, oh, he's got special like
Yep.
Kryptonian like technology that changes his. That's why when he walks into the Daily Planet and that guy goes, he says something about his looks. I forget what he says about his face, but he says something to him, and I was like, that's an odd line. And then when he talks about the Kryptonian, the glasses later, I'm like, oh, it changes his face so he doesn't look as handsome. He doesn't look. He looks very average to everyone else when he has the glasses on. So that's pretty interesting. That was good. It was a good fix of the lore to update it in a way that didn't take away from the character, didn't take away from the disguise or who Superman and Clark is, but it updated it for today. So I agree with you. Good times.
Here's the tweet that I saw. You probably saw the same one, explaining that David
Yeah.
Corrin Sweat got 750K, Rachel Brosnan was 750, and then Nicholas Hoult. Yes, he is a bigger star, so they got him. Now, you know what's interesting though? What is the second movie on David and Rachel's contract? Is that going to be okay? Congratulations, you're now going to make $2 million. Is because that's still pretty good.
So what I learned from an interview the other day I was watching is that, and it was just a thing that Corrin Sweat actually said, he signed a 2-movie deal already with DC.
Only 2-movie deal?
In.
That's so stupid.
I know, but chill.
Chill.
It's not stupid. It's not stupid for him because Chris.
No, he's doing a great thing.
Yeah.
No, only
So like Chris, remember like Chris Evans and that. The only person that didn't sign on for 6 movies when they first started in the MCU was Robert Downey Jr. and he got $75 million. He made bank on Age of Ultron, man. $75 million alone just for him, right?
So how do you know that it was only a 2-picture deal?
Well, because Corrin Sweat says it in an interview with Holt. He signed for 2 pictures. So what I think is going to happen is, and he's smart because look what happened to Cavill.
Yes.
Look what WB did to Cavill, honestly. Not his fault at all. I think Cavill could have shined. He just had bad writing and a really terrible studio writing things. But like what I think is going to happen here is he's going to do the 2-picture deal. He's probably one of those pictures might be Supergirl that he's involved in, or it could be a second Superman. Who knows at this point? But see at the bottom of that, they have residuals, bonus residuals that they're going to get if the movie does well. This movie is going to do well. This movie is already hitting, I think, midway through Saturday, midway yesterday, which was Friday American time, it was already hitting 117 million, right before it even hit Saturday, Sunday. So like and with the ratings that it already has great word of mouth. Yeah, worldwide
96 million with only the Friday being counted right now. Only Friday.
Yeah, exactly. So Saturday, Sunday, like we're going to, and then we have the second week's going to be interesting to see how much the drop off is. But I think this is going to get repeat viewing. Again, it's a 4 corners movie as well. So it's going to get the kids and just watch it. Like this is the thing. It's not this serious, dark, like overtoned movie. It's light, it's happy, it's Superman like doing what Superman does best, which is being hope. Like it's going to get
see the way that Hawkgirl killed that dude. She was dropping him and then went into a cup.
Yeah, no, he's like, you can't kill me, you're a hero, whatever. He's like, oh, like you're like Superman or whatever. He's like, I'm not Superman. She says, I'm not Superman.
She needed that moment. She needed that moment because I wasn't feeling her for most of the movie. She's had something that she can stand out. She had her moment in the movie. Terrific got it. I think what's his name got it? Green Lantern got it.
Green Lantern doing this when he's
at Green Lantern had many moments actually. Every time he was on screen, I really felt like he was a character. Supporting characters get to flex a little bit, right? But not that Superman did.
They got time to breathe. I think James Gunn, and I said this on Twitter, you probably would have read it. They need to elevate Mr. He needs like a TV show or something. He needs to reoccur.
We don't do TV. Film.
Yeah, he needs to reoccur in something big for DC because I forget the actor's name. Forgive me, but
Eddie Gazzegi.
Yeah, dude, he killed this. I love Mr. Terrific. I loved him when he was introduced in the CW show in Arrow. I was like, yes, I love Mr. Terrific from the comics. He was perfect in this movie. He was so good. That scene when he's at the bubble run and he just annihilates that entire camp by himself. I'm like, this is what we need.
I was waiting for that scene, man.
Like,
I was like, what are they gonna do? I heard that there's a good scene, and then when I saw it, and I think about it, when you focus the camera on Rachel, on what's her name, Lois Lane in the center, and it's all happening around and behind, you don't have to CGI it so expensively. The pixels don't all got to be there. You can have all the destruction happen pretty cheap. Like, I mean, inexpensively. And I thought that was a good utilization of the. Oh my god, it's all happening.
But it's also cool from a storytelling perspective. It's also really weird because you're she's the audience, and it puts you in the audience mode. So you're watching it with her, going around, going, "What is happening?" I think it's a cool storytelling perspective as well from the camera angle. Is like to show it like you're the audience with her, watching this happen around you.
You know why that's also cool? Is that if he does get a movie later on, we'll be seeing the scenes from his perspective. And so we're saving that. We're not giving too much of Terrific's perspective if there are plans to do something later.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's really cool. They utilized him a lot. They used his tech mind. And he had the attitude. His attitude was just
I'm goddamn Mr. Terrific.
He got so many laughs in the cinema. I was in a packed cinema. It was Thursday night. We went to see it, which is
means it was Wednesday
here. It was Wednesday there. It was Thursday night.
I'm playing with you. I shouldn't have said that. I interrupted the whole flow of the conversation.
Oh, it's all good. No. I was in a packed cinema, and he got super shit got the biggest laugh.
Really?
Because when he's like, you know how I feel about that, like when he got super offended at it. And then later you find out it's the monkeys, and that got another laugh. But yeah, Mr. Terrific, he got most of the laughs of the cinema because I would say he's the comedic relief to like the serious nature of what's going on. Like when the portal's closing in, he's like being serious, but the way that he says it is an inflection of jokiness so that like people laugh. But yeah, like the dog doing like breaking his fears and all the rest of it, like. I don't know if you want to talk about Krypto. What did you think of Krypto?
I'm ready to go into Krypto right now. Okay.
Yeah, let's
go. He named it after, or he modeled it after his dog Ozu. It was a rescue.
Yeah.
And just jumping to the end, it is Supergirl's dog, and she is treated like a plaything by the dog, and that is what encourages Krypto for being such a delinquent dog. And that wasn't really needed because I'm just like, it's just a dumb dog, whatever. But no, there was even that got explained, which was kind of cool.
Yeah,
and I'm happy that he did it go the extra
and not
mile.
Told, but shown. We got shown. I think he was cool. I like that when he was like he smiled because Lex was like brains over brawn, and he was just like he had a laugh about it because he's like I have a backup weapon, like basically. So when he whistles for him, and then he's like, get the toy. And he just starts breaking all of the cameras.
Which they set up because Mr. Terrific's T-spheres were the toy he was eating earlier. And he was like, oh man, these are so expensive. So I hate it. So like even Mr. Terrific venting about it made it more special when the drones that belonged to the Luthor Corp were going down. Luthor Corp, I hate that guy. He wasn't gonna stop the portal. He was like, we'll wait till it gets to a city that matters.
Yeah, Lex is he's petty. He's petty. He's great. He's so good. He's a petty bitch in this movie, and that's what Lex Luthor should be. He's a petty, selfish, self-righteous, and he's jealous of Superman. He's jealous of his power, and like it comes out all in that final speech between him and Superman when Superman's standing there in the thing, and he's like crying, but not crying in like sorrow. He's crying in rage because everyone hates him, and he wants the world to love him. He is a self-centered, self-righteous piece of shit. That's what Lex Luthor has to be. And so, when he does that big speech at the end, it's like, this is everything. He's lost all of it because he wanted the world to love him and not Superman. He says it earlier. He's like, he just comes. He gets catapulted onto this planet and everyone raises him up and adores him. I'm like, yes, this is Lex Luthor. This is who he is. Like, he despises Superman because he takes the limelight. No matter what Lex does for humanity, he's always in the shadow of Superman. And that's why he hates him. Like, and that's why Nicholas Hoult plays him so perfectly. He's perfect in this film. Like, he is the 10 out of 10. He deserves $2 million plus all the residuals he's going to get.
He gets the $2 million on the bonuses.
He is amazing in this movie. If you have to have a great villain to have a great hero, and he is so great. That part where he's like, hey, 52, be 63 and he's like getting Ultraman up punch.
1A,
Like,
1A, 1A.
Yeah, he's so angry at him, and it's like it's perfect. He's such a petty. Like when he smashes the cup of stuff on the ground to get his minions to clean it up over and over again. Like they come by near and he's flips it onto the ground again.
That was James Gunn humor that I wasn't fond of. Sorry.
Really? No, that was Lex Luthor. That was literally him being a petty bitch. That's what he is. He is petty. Like that's who he is as a character. He's petty, but he's also has the power and resources to be the intimidation, which is what he does when he blows that dude away just for helping him out of a hole like that like he's punched into. Like he has that guy killed. He just shoots him in the head. He doesn't get someone to do it. He shoots him with a revolver, like straight out. He's like, I thought that'd be longer. Yeah, Mally.
Yeah, and it wasn't a surprise. I would think, okay, there's going to be 6. I know how this goes. But yeah, he killed him straight up.
Yeah, but I like that Lex actually says it out loud. He's like, oh, I thought that might go along longer. Like,
yeah. So you know the tropes, Mr. James Gunn. You know the tropes. Mike, hi.
Hello.
You sound very dull. You sound very at home. Did you watch the Bill Goldberg retirement?
I did. Dude, I just woke up. I thought Evolution was tonight, but clearly I got my days mixed up. They've trained me for Saturday pay-per-views now. Now, I don't know. Since Evolution was an afterthought, I should have known that, but, whatever. But yeah, no, I thought today was Evolution.
WZ says,
did he lose?
Poor Mally, he was brave. What was your thoughts on Mally, the hot dog vendor?
I didn't have any. I mean, I thought it was messed up that he got shot, but I just wanted to, because I came in and I heard you guys talking about. Do you know who else decides the response based on whether it's a state that he likes or not? Because you were mentioning about Lex, how his the way he was depended on who he was responding to or something like that. That I heard that tail end part. Because we have someone who's, it was just, you were talking about Lex Luthor and how much of a dick he was. And what was
petty,
the thing?
Petty.
Yeah. Do you know who else is petty? Who's exactly like that? Depending on, the way he tailors his comments on the particular state. Do you know who does that? I'll give you a hint. He's orange. Who? The New Day, of course. No, Donald Trump. He does the same exact thing. Watch him.
I was going to say Metamorpho. Like that's
no,
Metamorpho
is good. But yeah, he's another one that does that. But no, I enjoyed the movie.
You know what I would have done if I was Metamorpho?
Metamorpho.
I would turn my kryptonite, which is a green thing on my hand, and I would just create something that is green and emeraldy. That's not kryptonite. How are people gonna know what I'm creating kryptonite or I stopped creating kryptonite? And I would be like, all right, Superman, stay here. Heal up, just get, grab your wit. Let's talk. What's the plan?
Well, he didn't want to take the chance because of the baby.
Yeah, that too. But I think possibly because Lex already knows what kryptonite does to Superman because he's probably used it on him before. We're talking about 3 years after he's become Superman and all the kryptonite's gone, presumably because Superman's got it off the planet or whatever. But I don't think he wanted to take that risk. I mean, he was weeping. After that dude got shot in the face, but he had no choice because he didn't want his baby to be killed.
Now, it
leads into my favorite scene in the movie, but yeah,
he would have grabbed the gun from him and shot him in the head himself.
Absolutely,
making him edgy.
That's his. Is that his Zack Snyder one for the? That's one for the stream. That's
Mike. We all get one. So that was your Snyder shot. Okay.
I've already used mine. Mike. I can't.
Let's talk about the movie that we saw. So we should probably have gone from beginning to end. We did start with some words, and I learned David Cornsweet is a Star Wars fan. He's requested we have opening crawl. So we know that 3 decades ago he came to Earth. 3 years ago he went public. 3 months ago he dated Lois Lane. And 3 days ago, I think, is when the Baravia or whatever it was called.
Bavaria was invaded for the first time, and he stepped. It's the first time he stepped in a world conflict or something. It says that on the screen.
I'm all for the opening crawl and the narrating. I'm all for these extra things. I don't want to have narrating through my whole movie, but if you want to begin it in a special way, nice. Now, also as a lover of movies and continuity, it would probably make sense for the second movie to have opening crawl, but as a creator, I think James Gunn should not restrict himself to that. If there's no room for an opening crawl, like don't damn your movie because we got to start with the opening crawl. So don't if you don't need to, don't do it.
Yeah.
Well, you know what else? I'm going to just I want to say this about Snyder and about what's going on with Superman now. There are elements in this movie, in the Superman movie, and this happens with comic book movies all the time, where the filmmakers, whoever they are, will cherry pick the elements from the comic books, because there's a lot of things that happen. I mean, Superman's been going on since like the 30s,
38,
like 20, yeah. So it's been a long time, and there have been things like, I know people. I don't know if you guys have discussed it or not. That had an issue with the Jor-El thing. Now that was in John Byrne's 1985 Man of Steel, when they first. That was like the first. A contemporary, I guess, big reboot. Like, it even made the cover of Time magazine, and that was in there. It wasn't so much that they were going to like, this is what you're going to do. Like, you should. Like, he was just talking to Laura. He's like, when we send him to this planet, he's eventually going to be more superior. So eventually, maybe this will happen, and they'll show him the Kryptonian way, whatever it is. It wasn't like you're going to find the harem. Yeah. So it wasn't something. It wasn't like a directive. But there's a lot of people today that are starting discourse over things because
don't do that either, Mike. Nah, man, you can't.
No. I'm saying, but I also don't want it to
even
go
if
the
it's
other way.
To say they're wrong, don't give them the voice. You are.
I'm not. No, I am not. I'm not mentioning any of that. But I'm saying, I felt that what James Gunn did is he pulled. There was a lot from All-Star Superman. There was a little from Birthright. But the things that he did, that he pulled from, I felt it all worked in the way he was telling his story. Like, I didn't have an issue with, there were some people that had an issue with like not having the origin or just being. It felt like they were being dropped in.
There are some people who had an issue. You're voicing the anti-happy people,
because that can be a thing. That could be a thing where people say, "Well, we didn't see like we're dropped," because we literally hit the ground running.
No, Mike, you're good at comic book stuff, right? Here, help me out with this comic book stuff. What Mr. Terrific comic book stories did they take from? Like, he's the second Mr. Terrific. I think his name is Michael Holt. They didn't say his name in this, did they?
Yeah, no, not at all.
No, they didn't. Yeah. It was just Mr. Terrific.
Yeah. Well, why not, bro? Just I would say to have his name somewhere in the movie, just to say that it was there, and I guess people could rewatch and they learn, his name is Michael Holt. But
they didn't really they didn't name Hawk Girl either, like, because it's like
Shira,
because it's like they can't. Yeah, her name's Shira, but like it's like because they have they have a mythos around her and Hawkman, and like how they regenerate and they're immortal, trapped because of a like they'd have to go so far they have to go so far into like the lore for each of these characters. I think what he did was good. He introduced them. He showed what they could do. He showed their kind of personalities a little bit. I think what I did see, I'm not going to talk about what some people think, but what I did observe, I think on Twitter, which was hilarious to me, was these people going, "I didn't know who this was," talking about Nathan Fillion. And I think that's hilarious, Mike, given his body of work. Because they're like, I slept on this guy. And I'm like, are you serious? You slept on Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner? Like, he was perfect in this role. He was amazingly great. And that's the other thing. I agree with you, Mike. Like, everything that James Gunn decided to do in this movie worked well for every single character that he portrayed in it. There wasn't a downside to the characters, except for, and I don't want to get into negatives because Chill wants to talk about the positives. There's one minor issue that I had with one of the characters or characterizations, but other than that, throughout the majority of this movie, the characters, the actors are acting exactly as I have wanted a Superman to since seeing the original Superman, like when I was a kid.
I wonder who he's talking about, Mike. Who's this one character who didn't match what he would want? It's not Lex. It's not Superman. Who could it be? Jimmy Olsen, maybe?
Yeah, the problem with Jimmy and all his riz.
I don't care about Jimmy. His stuff was actually funny. I kind of liked. You know what? I saw an interview about this, and I kind of agree with the guy that was giving his review about it. I didn't agree with the other people that were on Piers Morgan, but I agree with this one guy. How James Gunn brought back Mike. He brought back dumb bimbos and other things like into movies that used to be
Oh.
there. You know how like Lex Luthor had his silly side chick that was like stupid in the first in all of the Superman movies. He had like this dumb woman that was just there to worship him because that's what he is. He's a self-indulgent, self-righteous like narcissist, and so he wants everyone around him to worship him. So putting these women in like cubes in an alternate dimension, a pocket universe, because they wrote a bad blog is really just right down the line of old school Superman, in my opinion. Which I think he borrowed from that whole like 1980s kind of villain trope where they had the dumb bimbo. But like I kind of liked her. I thought she was funny. Her interactions with Jimmy were funny. His facial mannerisms was every man in that audience who knows what a clingy woman is like. Like it was very stereotypical, but that's something that's okay. Like I feel like we've got to this point in movies where you can't do stereotypes anymore. And I feel like even for the most part, Mr. Terrific, the way he spoke was very stereotypical, like black. Like that's just how it is. Like that's what when I was listening to him, like this is very stereotypical of like how a black hero would say things. But at the same time, everyone was laughing. Everyone was having a good time because he was a great character. And the way he said stuff was the inflection of like, damn, you know, like he had that whole swagger, the black man swagger. 80s. And I was like, yeah, the 80s black man swagger thing. And I was like, this is great. This is great.
The stereotypes I'm worrisome of are things like fatherlessness, jail, things like unintelligence, like the stereotypes.
Oh, he's the most intelligent man in the movie.
Yeah, and this was all, and there's no redlining or there's no mentions of traumatic. There's no mentions of any sort of trauma related to his skin. No one brings it up, and that, my friends, is the answer to normalizing people's appearances. It's so normal to be black in James Gunn's Superman, you know, DCU, that no one brings it up. That's how we get forward.
Well, see, I tried to say this too earlier, but like one of the potential issues would have been the fact that we literally just get dropped into like it's 3 years, like everything that's there, it's already normalized because it's gone on. Like there's been metahumans for 3 years, like they're used to it. Like it's not something that's out of the, so I don't mind that. Like I understand how some people might have an issue as far as, well, you know, we didn't see him get there, we didn't see the rocket, we didn't see this, we didn't see him be Superboy or whatever. But like we've had that like how many times? Like people should know this. And if you're a child and your parent hasn't exposed you to Superman from 78, then they should be taken away by DCS because that
I thought you were going to say there's plenty of homework on the streaming services.
Oh, no. They should definitely, they definitely don't deserve to be parents. But like they should already know this. So we don't need to have this again, all over again. Like you just drop us there and it's already started. The universe is like, it's there, you know?
Yeah, they established the Justice Gang, like, which is the running joke of the movie. Like, and I love that the scene at the end where like Metamorpho, he's just like, oh, that's a cool name, and he's like, you're in. Like it's just, that's the kind of like Guy Gardner that I wanted as well. Like he is not Hal Jordan. He is not a confident ex-pilot like jokester man. He is this. He's not. He's kind of self-indulgent, Guy Gardner. So it's like
excellently casted, and the delivery of this character, the usage of him was phenomenal, bro. Because it's the Superman movie. People are gonna come for Superman. You already know that. So while you're there, increase the popularity of some others. I saw Superman Thursday night and thought it was all right. Oh my God, Robert's gonna give us a negative review. It's not something that I would watch again unless my twins were little and wanted to watch it over and over again on DVD. Ouch. Robert Monroe Jr. Well, he didn't call it garbage. You just said you thought it was all right. All right. You're not saying it was a waste of money. Mike, get him.
Yeah.
Get him, Mike.
Hey, you know, people are allowed to have different opinions. I mean, those hold on, I didn't fit those opinions are wrong, but they're still allowed to have them. Like, you know, I mean, it's okay.
Yeah.
But no, see, but the other thing is when they say it's a comic book movie, I want them to understand that they're not necessarily just talking about like it's based on comic books. Like they pulled this from this, they pulled that from that. Like it's also the fact that there's stuff that happens in here that doesn't necessarily see. This isn't a documentary. This is a comic book movie, and in a comic book movie, things can happen that don't necessarily happen in the real world. Like you can establish yourself as far as like, you know, the physics of the world that you're basing your story in, but this is a comic book universe where fantastical things can happen. Everything isn't out of the ordinary. Like, you know, humans don't have like, you know, powers or whatever unless they happen to get bit by a radioactive spider or some other random thing happens, or, you know, some dude decides that he's a millionaire and he's going to go train with like some of the best assassins in the world and then hone his body and then, you know, discover that he can be the end all be all with enough prep time. Like, you know, this is a comic book where like stuff this like that can happen. And that's what happened in this movie. Like you can explain those things away that you might have a problem like a kaiju and stuff like that by it's a comic book movie.
Perp asks about Superboy. I think we got a clone here. No more room for clones. We're good.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's.
I think Superboy, I think he can exist. I don't know if he's ever going to do that, given we just had that god awful Teen Titans show. I think there's certain properties that I think we're not going to get for a little while. And this is what I was about to say about this movie. I think let me just be as generous as I can, given the controversial nature of the last decade of DC films, I think that this movie...
controversial, it's been mismanagement, Paul. It's not
mismanagement, but I'm talking about like fan reception, because of course there are people that love a certain type of movie style from a certain director, and there are certain people that really despise those movies. And so it's like, and like this movie is like trying to basically be its own thing amongst that and try to raise itself above. And to be fair, it's got great critic reviews, great audience reviews. It's making money. It's set to make its bank by the end of the opening weekend. We'll see how many rewatchabilities it can get, I guess. I want to see it again.
It was at 96.5 million for Thursday and Friday.
Yeah, so exactly. That's what I'm saying. So it's going to double that over the weekend, I think. We're going to see at least 117 plus. Yeah, exactly.
3 times already.
Yeah, that's great. And it's good because, and the other thing I said, like I said earlier, Chill, is it has the, because it's light, because it's Superman is hope, because of all these things, it doesn't have the serious nature of these previous films. It has the four quadrant ability where families will go see this movie, right? And they will love it. Kids will love it because they will believe, I'm going to say it, Mike, they will believe a man can fly when they see this movie because it's such a breath of fresh air in a dire, fucking depressing universe that we used to have. So like this is like hope. This is joy. When I walked out of this movie, I felt like I wanted to watch it again. I was looking forward to the next DC product. I was actually, even though one of my minor issues is Kara in this movie, I was looking forward to seeing Supergirl. And I've never wanted to see a Supergirl movie. But this movie made me excited about what's coming next, right? Which DC has not done for a long time for the modern audience. They have their little niche fan club, right, on the internet that I can't mention on the stream again. But like they have this niche little fan club that just won't die. But hopefully this movie does so big, so massive over the next month that it dies. And we can finally be free and we can be uplifted and hopeful in a universe that has Superman doing what he does best, which is being the hope of the world in DC. That's his job, right?
He is that.
We have
That's
other characters to be...
I have no issues.
We have other characters to be depressed.
I have no question
Batman's
in my
depressed.
mind.
Wonder Woman's depressed. Like, let Superman be hopeful. Let him be
but you know
wanting to
what
save
Superman
everything.
was in this movie, though, while providing hope, he kept getting beat up. In the beginning, he gets knocked out and beat up by the Hammer of Baravia / Ultraman. And, you know, the Kryptonite scene, and, you know, even when he's fighting those kaiju, he's getting squashed and crushed. And I do like what he did when he went underground and kind of appeared on the other side of it. That was all right.
Before that happened, I saw somebody complain about that. Like, what's going on? They have to wait for the context before they start being outraged about things. There was nothing wrong.
But people are like, oh, he's beat up in every scene. It's like, yeah, but this is Superman that's never faced, a character that was the same power level as him. This is the
Well,
same
do you know why
part.
that? Do you know why that
hang on.
happened?
I'm gonna invoke this though. It's like Man of Steel when Zod learns to adapt without his helmet, and he kicks the crap out of Superman. He throws him through buildings and smashes him like over and over again. This is the same thing. Superman's never faced anybody as powerful as him, so it took him a while. Even his little superbots were like, "Bro, you're only 80%, and he just beat you at 100%."
Bro,
Like,
his superbots did not last. They were in the trailer. I'm thinking, okay, the new universe will have these.
oh,
We got number
yeah,
4. We
Lex
got number
took care of
12.
them.
No,
Yeah.
engineers took care of them.
The reason I felt that Gunn and he might have leaned into it a little too heavy. The reason I think he had Superman get his ass handed to him as much as he did is because that is a common complaint. Like when I talk to people in the store, it's always like, who's better, Batman or Superman? The answer, unfortunately, is always Batman. Because Batman, he's OP with enough prep time and all that. Superman, I don't like because he can't. No, he never gets beat. Like he can always win everything. So I think that's part of the reason why Gunn decided, okay, you want to see him get his ass? Here it is. He's not like he is the most powerful person on the planet, but here's him getting beat up a lot.
Why don't you take Why don't you take us to Engineer and the Ultraman, the clone of Superman? Take us to the villain route. What did you feel about the villains here?
I thought they were okay. Like the reveal was pretty predictable. You know what I'm saying? That could have been a little. I would have preferred like. I'm not against the fact that it's a clone of Superman because it makes sense. People complain that this Superman is weak, but it's like he's fighting himself. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, and that's a meta. That's like kind of like a metaphor. Like it's a little meta there too. You know what I'm saying? Like overall with the story, but I didn't really like the Engineer. I think you should have replaced the Engineer with like somebody like Metallo. Like that would be dope.
When it comes to the instructions being told by like human beings, they don't have super speed and they can't think fast and they got to talk. That might be a problem for me because Superman's supposed to be a good enough fighter and he can move fast. Where even if you're like, oh, you got to do this sequence, that sequence, you still should be too slow to be able to defeat Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Not Ultraman. And I'm going to be honest with you. Like, we're talking about a boy. He was raised on a farm. Like, he wasn't raised in a judo camp. He wasn't raised to for combat. Like, whereas we've got a guy pumping direct instructions, A51, blah, 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 into this dude's head. All of the fight, all of his, and we saw it at the beginning. By the way, for those people that are complaining about this, it literally is explained right at the beginning when he says, every single move that he can make. He studied Superman.
Yeah.
He studied how to beat him. He knows the moves that will beat him. That's why he gets his ass kicked by Ultraman, because he knows exactly how to beat him. And that's
he essentially taskmastered him.
Exactly, Mike. And at the end, that's why it's so important when he goes brains that are brawn, and he smiles and he whistles for Krypto, because Lex didn't count on Krypto being there to take away the ability to control Ultraman.
He didn't know about Krypto 3 years ago. He just found out about Krypto this week.
Yeah, and to your point, to your point, Paul, like that just goes to show you how smart Lex was, because it's like he's attacking Superman not only physically with just Ultraman, he's attacking him like emotionally, you know what I'm saying, mentally and stuff like that, using different tactics like that. So it's like,
exactly, he killed that dude in front of him, not just because he wanted to know where he grew up. He wants to kill everyone associated with Superman, every single one of them, including his parents, because he hates him. He's that petty. That's what he is, and that's why he's a great Lex Luthor. Like, at the end of it, you're like, I hate this piece of shit, because that's what he is. He literally is written as a POS.
And he doesn't die. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Like every Marvel villain, he doesn't get chucked out of the window. I thought at the end when Krypto grabbed him and bashed him around, I'm like, oh no, he's going to get killed here accidentally or something. And I was like, if you kill Lex Luthor in this first movie, this is not going to go well.
But it was cathartic to see him get tossed around like a rag doll.
Oh, it was funny. It reminded me kind of the Hulk and Loki, though.
Yeah, a lot of people say that, yeah.
Like, yeah, because he's in the middle of this speech, and then in the middle of it, Krypto comes along and smashes him. And, like, that's the same thing. Loki's in the middle of a speech about being a god, and then he gets his ass kicked. Yeah. So,
it's just refreshing to see a Superman with personality actually, like, reacting to things, like having emotions. It's like actually we get to see like he's just not like, oh, I got see a fucking courtroom blow up and just have no facial expression, nothing, just not to go there, but I'm just saying it's kind of refreshing.
That was your
I think that
one perp.
Chill.
Yeah.
Highlight that Drew comment. Highlight that Drew comment about Superman getting his ass kicked.
He says Superman got his ass kicked because winning the fight wasn't his goal. Protecting the people was. He sacrificed tactical advantage fighting the kaiju.
That's a great point.
Keep him from crushing the building.
Yes,
that explains
this is
that
Superman.
one. But if you keep doing it in the movie, I'm gonna say Superman is supposed to be an overpowered, super strong guy. Like you can't. Every time it happened had a reason, had an excuse. I understand that the woman engineer put that sting inside his lungs and it prevented him from breathing, and it was covered, and he had to crash land. I get why he lost every time he lost. I get it. It just happened too much for a Superman.
But he didn't lose. He beat her.
But
he beat her. He beat Ultraman by like outsmarting him, and then he beat Lex by outsmarting him too. So it reversed Lex's whole brains over brawns thing. Superman outsmarted Lex at his own game. That's where he learned. You see, he adapted on the fly. Like you're talking about quick thinking. That's what Superman did. He realized he was outmatched by Ultraman because of what Lex was doing, and that's like, I used this to see him, eh? And that's how when he came up with the idea to bring Krypto in to destroy all those things. He actually outsmarted Lex at his own game. But that's the Superman we want to see, not this guy that jumps over an oil rig that's thrown at him and lets a building get exploded behind him because it looks cool. That's not Superman. Superman, like when he came down and saved a little fox, a little squirrel from being stomped on. When he blew that dog out of the way. When he held the baby, Metamorpho.
Yeah, that was crazy.
The entire time.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, black hole.
The entire time he was trying to save.
That's some Squid Game shit.
Because
I get the because. You don't have to tell me why the because was. I get it.
I'm saying this is Superman.
How many times do I need to see Superman with a good explanation get his ass kicked? And it was too often that he was on the down for my liking.
I don't know.
You know what?
That led up to the greatest scene in the movie, Chill, when he's going towards that black hole and he has everyone there, and then he just goes and he loses his breath to blow himself back. That is Superman. That's comic level Superman. That is amazing stuff. Like to see in a film of Superman.
Another scene that's like it's like even when when Superman was flying up and everybody's chasing him, they couldn't keep up with him. They was like, yo, we're trying to keep up with him. Like that even showed you like, yo, he's faster than them. Like he's faster than his clone. Like,
did you pick that up the first, second, or third time you watched the movie?
First time.
The first time when he's flying up and they couldn't catch him. That's why he was like, cuddly encompass
Ultraman, the engineer was like faster than Ultraman. Like when they was like just flying up. Yeah.
Well, they even say that too, Perp. He says because when he's fighting him, he says, "Yeah, he's a flawed version of you, but he can be programmed, right?" Like he even says he's a flawed clone. So like he's not as fast. He's as strong, but he's not as fast. Like there are things that he's not. He doesn't have the brain. Obviously, he doesn't have a brain. He's a mindless automaton. But like, there are things like, and it's true. Like every time, this is true. Drew's right. Every time he had a reason, and he won every time because at the end he outlasted. He learned every time he fought them. He learned from the experience, and he adapted, and he learned. And then these people are like, oh, he should be able to beat them all by himself, etc., etc. And I'm not highlighting them, by the way. I'm just saying it for the critique of it. When he has like the Justice Gang doing stuff or whatever, it's like yeah, because why did Superman form the Justice League? Because he can't do everything by himself. Like that's why the Justice League exists, because he has weaknesses, and those other heroes like slot in to those weaknesses. Plus, Batman is just better than all of them. He outsmarts all of them and knows how to beat all of them. So why wouldn't you want to have Batman and other people on your team, like Wonder Woman, etc.? These people lead nations, hidden nations, etc. So it's like, this is why the Justice League, Green Lantern, Martian Manhunter, all these people are on the Justice League to help Superman because he can't do it all by himself. He's
work smarter, not harder.
It's a common misconception. And there's that scene in the movie where he's... What?
Sorry.
There's that scene in the movie where he's like sitting with Lois after the fallout of learning that his message for his parents will like destroy these people.
Yeah, and I like when she said, "I didn't believe it for a second, anyways."
Yeah, that's good. But it's like she didn't believe his motivations were that way. But they're like, hey, shouldn't you be out there? Like, and he's like, no, they've got it handled. And then you see in the background like Green Lantern smacking it with a big baseball bat, like out of willpower and stuff. Like you see all that stuff happening, and he nets it while they're having this conversation
Yeah.
because Superman doesn't need to deal with that. He doesn't need to fly into every situation and
Is
do
that
all
what you
these things.
got
That's
from
why
that? What I picked up from that was it's so common to have super things happen in the city that
well, maybe
that's the world
too.
we
Yeah,
live in.
maybe that's true.
And
Ever
there
since
were
the
and
formation
there
of
were other
metahumans, maybe
heroes, and there were other
they could take care
heroes
of
to
it.
take care of
Yeah,
it too.
exactly. Yeah, because imagine in the comics, every DC comic, right? You got this low level thing happening, and Batman's like hunting some criminal. He's hunting Mad Hatter, right? In the comics, and then Superman just flies in and arrests Mad Hatter because he can. You know what I'm saying? Like this is what I'm saying. Like if you go the route of he's overpowered, he should be able to beat everything that comes towards him. He doesn't have to learn anything. Then yeah, truly he is overpowered. But what we saw in this movie is that he's vulnerable. That he needs his team. He needs teammates. He needs community. He needs humanity. Right, and that's what makes him Superman. Is that his greatest strength is his humanity, and that's why we get that great scene at the end where he's like, put on a picture of his, put on the recordings of his parents, and we see his actual parents who raised him.
That was a show don't tell moment.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was a great moment.
Drew Manchu says, "Dude took the time to save a freaking squirrel." I know we all love that.
It should have been a cat. It should have been a cat.
What? Oh, a squirrel. That they brought that back. That was Krypto. He was getting brainwashed. Like,
You don't.
Yeah.
I heard, and you probably also heard that there was a scene where he punches Krypto, but they didn't want to put that in the movie. Fine, keep it PG-13.
Punch Krypto. Why would you punch Krypto?
Well, that would have been a place where Lex couldn't recover from. Like, shooting a guy in the head.
Yeah,
that's okay.
You mean
Punching
Lex
a dog,
punched Krypto?
That's you're going too far. Yeah.
No, wait. Lex couldn't punch
Wait,
Krypto
who punched
because
him?
he's
Who
if Lex
punched
punched him,
Krypto
he'd break
in that
his
scene?
fist.
While he was
Lex-
suspended, you could have punched him in that pocket universe. While he was jailed, you could have got Krypto in a predicament.
No, he still has his powers. That's why he's flying. He doesn't have any kryptonite to weaken him. If Lex punched Krypto, he'd break his fist.
Whatever it was, they deleted the scene.
Oh,
That's
also,
a scary ass dog.
There might be, there's talk that there might be a Jimmy Olsen show or a Superman-esque show with Jimmy and Mr. Terrific.
Yeah. Listening to that all week.
I think what's really dope about this movie as well too is the dynamic between Clark and Lois. I think that's the strongest I've seen in like a comic book movie. I feel like
Lois was the
In a long
best
time.
I've had with a Lois. Beautiful.
She destroyed Amy. She was way better. Yeah, she was way better.
Her interview in the start. Damn.
Perfect.
And I've never seen
Cook Superman.
in a way, but she kept some things off record. There was a moment where she says, "You can't say that, Clark," and then she ended the recording. Do you guys pick up that?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I'm like, damn, that exists. That file. One day, maybe it'll be used against him.
Oh, you know what it'd be? It'd be Lex Luthor, and then what he does is he has this file, and he has all the files have like little symbols on them of like the Justice League, and he'll have that file inside of Superman's file, like the little red in that file. That's what will happen one day, and then he'll have like a Flash symbol for the Flash, because Lex Luthor gives the heroes their symbols instead of the heroes.
Right.
So the movie did $22.5 million on Thursday. It did 56.5 on Friday.
That means
do you think
nothing to me. Sorry, keep going.
No. So do you think it'll do 56 again today, or do you think it'll do more because it's the weekend?
Well, we can just look at the history of other movies and how they perform from Friday to Saturday. But the Thursday thing, what about Amazon Prime? Come to
Yeah, that
movies
counts.
early. That counts.
Yeah, they count that. Yeah.
They counted that in there too?
They count
Yeah.
as a Friday. Thursday counts as Friday, and the other earlier count as Friday.
This is the previews, yeah.
That was on Monday.
Okay.
Mm,
Those Monday tickets and Tuesday tickets count as a Friday. It's really hard to read.
See, well,
I think
are you sure
by the
about
end of
that?
its run, maybe 117. What they're saying by the end of the last time I read it, they were saying 117 was the projected end of weekend box office. But I think it
117.
might be close to 117.
Okay then.
What I think
Domestically,
it might be, domestically. So I think
which
it's
is
probably
crazy.
going to hit one.
All right.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. One, I think maybe because it has amazing word of mouth. That's why. Like everyone that's seen that movie that isn't a previously mentioned community member of another community. Anyone that's seen this,
Even
movie
when you
with an
say
open
that, you know
mind-
you're highlighting them, guys.
No, but I'm like anybody that has an open mind that wants to see a Superman film that's like actually Superman. They're raving about this film being
Yes.
amazing, right?
On
Like, so
Monday,
it's
the
like,
water cooler talk is going to be crazy at the offices.
Yeah. So it's like I think this has great word of mouth. I think it might be maybe a 50-60% drop off second weekend, maybe, but like possibly maybe less than that. I don't know how many rewatchabilities there will be on the weekend.
How
But,
was the
like,
chatter at the
I,
comic shop? Go ahead, Parp. Go ahead.
I was about to say, like, I don't think editing is gonna like really take any big chunk out of Superman's box office next week when that comes out.
Next week? No, absolutely not.
No, because Fantastic Four comes out in 2 weeks, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got a whole week and a half really of Superman.
Premium
reign.
screens.
Yeah, so I think it's going to make its bank. Yeah.
Mike, tell me about
Definitely.
the shop and how many people you spoke to about this movie and how did those conversations go compared to other times?
I haven't heard anybody say that, and this isn't. I haven't heard anybody say they haven't liked it yet. They've all liked it, including non-comic book fans or people that are just have been exposed to it for the first time. You know.
And do you talk about it more than you talked about Deadpool last year or Brave New World and Avengers Endgame? How did the conversation?
This is the most I've ever talked about a DC movie.
A DC movie? All right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that is very interesting.
And it's been the most overwhelmingly positive for a DC movie.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what I was about to ask actually. What kind of talk is it? Because I feel like my partner, she's only seen Christopher Reeve Superman. She skipped all of the last decade of those movies, right? Which I found super surprising. I was like, "Oh wow, you haven't seen that stuff?" And I was like, and then I told her what Kent said to Mike. I told her what Park Kent said to Clark about that busload of children, and her face, I can't replicate the horror on her face from that line. And that's all she needed to know. She's like, I don't want to watch this movie. So like, it's like, but then she walked out of this movie and she was like, that was a great film. She was overwhelmingly positive, and she's not a huge like comic book fan. She likes the comic book movies, but she hasn't really been like a huge DC follower except for the Reeves movies when she was a kid. So like, I was like, this is overwhelmingly positive. But I take it as like a modern audience person that isn't as involved in movie talk or isn't as like in the zeitgeist of comic book movies. Like when I take her to a CBM movie and ask what her opinion is, it's usually generally what I think the general audience is going to think when they see it. Which is why when she walked out of that Captain America film or wannabe Captain America film, and she was like,
oh my god,
extremely upset about it.
When you said that Captain America film, I'm like, you were with her in 2016? Oh, yeah, okay. Brave New World.
No, I'm talking about Captain Falcon. And yeah, like she walked out of that hating that, but she loves. The reason why is because she loves MCU Captain America. She loves Chris Evans as Captain America. That's her Captain America. So anyone that takes that mantle on, it doesn't matter what the comic books say. It doesn't matter if they've done runs with him as the comic book. In the CBM world, that's Captain America. And I knew that's why these movies would fail. Because I was like, you're not going to make someone who isn't as compelling or who haven't been with for 20 years.
Okay,
that mantle. It doesn't make sense.
Which is why Superboy shouldn't be attempted right now. Like, we're good off that. Which is why
Stay away from Teen Titans for a while.
That's like a chapter 2, chapter 3 type of thing down the line.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be doing any of that until we've had a Justice League movie, to be honest.
Pam asks, did you all like the movie? I think we all said we're in the 9 out of 10 territory, right, everyone?
I gave it 4 out of 5 stars on Letterboxd.
Well, like I said on your stream, 9.5 out of 10.
Wow, Mike, that's high.
Yeah.
That's a high praise.
I
What's the ding? What's the half a
don't
point
think
difference?
I don't think Monday counted, because I'm looking at some of, like, I looked up like Jurassic World and like Lilo and Stitch and stuff like that, and Lilo and Stitch did
Or maybe John Campia was capping, because that's where I heard it from. Like, I was just like, listen to him talk.
because if that was the case, then it should have been a lot more, because I'm sure there's a lot of people.
You know what, though,
that wanted to
guys?
see it.
The second weekend is so much more important for this. It's, we gotta know if it has the longevity, and we gotta know. So,
I
like,
agree with
regardless
you.
of if the Mondays, the Tuesdays, and everything, this conversation won't matter by the second weekend.
Well, no, but see,
And I'm still on.
No, what you're saying, though, I want them to count Monday, because that counts. So I want that, like, they ought to. I don't know
You
if they're
count your
trying
money,
to say that's
huh?
something separate.
Yeah.
Well, dude,
You're
it
just
matters,
a
though,
million-
doesn't it? I mean,
you're
you
just-
got to be specific with these things these days, right?
You're just $1 million man.
Everybody's got a price.
Thank you for the super chat.
Money, 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 money.
While I had my issues, excited for future of DCU, I hope Gunn can go more hands off and let other creators and directors cook and give their own tones. Damn, that's such a true thing to say, but like, we should be having that conversation. We should be talking about, this is the weekend of that Superman release. It was just released yesterday. We need to be talking about the movie and not like, well, I hope he can get his hands off because maybe
I think
he can do no wrong.
I agree
He'll
with
include
this.
himself.
But no, I actually, Chill, what I think is happening here is that Gunn needed to take the reins on this one, because this was the first movie out of the gate. He needed to have complete control and know what the vision was for the future and push it out.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
And succeed.
As it is.
Thank
As
you.
it is.
Look at Paul. Look at Paul using the mute function like a guy who knows how it works. God, you know how many other people would cough later this thing? He did cough once, and then
No,
he was like,
no
"Oh, I know
amateur.
what to do."
Amateur.
Dewan says, "I don't even know those Kryptonians could even get drunk. They can't. That's why she's got to go to the planet with the red sun. I think."
And we have one of my minor issues of the film.
No, continue what you were gonna say here though. Before you started getting SARS.
Yeah. No, I agree with this, but I think, he needed to have complete control out of the gate. He's the one in control. He's the one that had to take full responsibility if this movie succeeds or fails. And so, being the head of DC, this is a smart move for him, because now he's set the course, and now he can do what I Am 2 Fly Cam is saying. Like, he can go, okay, Supergirl, you can go to this director that I trust and writer that I trust. Superman 2, this can go to you. Green Lantern can be written by you. Like, now he understands, like, because he goes, this is the direction I'm heading. You guys get on board with this. It's kind of like when Feige first started with his committee at the beginning of the MCU, when they didn't know what they were doing, and then they formulated their plan and they built the different characters in different movies. Then they made the Avengers, right? So it's like, it's the same deal. He can now take his step back and go, right, I've set the course, and now directors and writers that I trust, I can hire into these positions, and I can
take a step back.
I trust them. I trust them to do what they need to do, and I will just be the creative overarching theme.
And you also get to be the guy who says, "My first movie, it set the tone. It was a success, and it made $1 billion."
Exactly.
This was proof of concept, and I don't have an issue. James Gunn needs to be the Kevin Feige of DC, and if that involves him overseeing things, I want him to be aware of everything that comes out, because with this movie, I think it was and I'm desperately trying to remember if it was this or something else that I saw, but I think he asked Drew Goddard and I forgot who the other ones were, about like to take a look at he showed it to them and said, is there anything that that I missed, or is there any, like, I want that sort of interaction, I want that sort of collaboration, because there might be something there that he can't see because he's too close to it, and then someone else with fresh eyes can look at it like that. You need to sort of have that sort of collaboration. You need to, and if it's something that you look at it and you're like, yeah, he's got a point, then do it. Don't be too proud, like, nah, I'm too, my ego isn't going to allow me to fix it or whatever. Like, do that, because you're trying to put the best product out there that you can.
Yeah.
So
does James Gunn direct Justice League though?
He should. If he's free, if he's got no creature commandos and some of the lesser stuff.
You never hear the end of it though. If he ends up direct, because it's like, oh, he's confident in Snyder to the T now. Like,
Okay.
There were individuals on this panel here on the upper left-hand corner of this screen who were complaining about all the things that, well, not necessarily complaining, but just bringing up the fact that James Gunn was out there saying stuff. And it's like, I'm at the point with all these like actors and people saying things, like there is so much pearl clutching in this comic book movie community where they get upset because these people might say something they don't necessarily agree with, or they're out there talking about their product. Like, as a student of wrestling, you should know that controversy creates cash. I wish they didn't do it, because I want the work to stand on its own. But you know what? If it'll get people there, if it'll get asses in the seat, or if it'll get engagement, then they're going to do it, and let them do it. But James Gunn could say whatever he wants. I don't. Dude, he is one of the major studio heads that, well, actually, I think he's like the only studio head I've ever seen who's been a big proponent of comic books. He's propped comic books up. He's hyped them up at every moment. He had a picture with him and David and Rachel, like when they first started shooting Superman, where they're reading Action Comic, various issues of Superman. And it's like nobody else in the like I haven't seen Kevin Feige do anything. I mean, he does wear the different hats and stuff like that, but like this is what needs to be seen. This is what needs to be shown. Now, I will call DC on one thing, because they kind of botched. They did a thing where they reprinted a facsimile of Krypto's first appearance.
Oh, we're not here for that. We're here for the movie review.
Wow. Well, you know what? If you didn't have comic books, you wouldn't have this movie.
No, but I mean, I know what you're talking about, and it does happen. They did it with Millie Alcock, the actress who played Supergirl recently also, and that's cool. And they'll continue doing that. And Drew Manchu controversy creates cash. Little message there.
You know what's not controversy? They cast Sydney Sweeney as Power Girl now, and they give her a traditional outfit.
Very dope.
For a Supergirl movie. Perfect.
Nah, they'll get the one from Daily Planet.
The IMAX opening, the IMAX opening fan screening, wherever the fuck, the special little thing they kind of give you, they gave everybody like a comic book. I didn't read it yet, but it's like it's a pretty thick ass comic book, so it's like it just
For
comes
free?
with the movie. Yeah.
Were the ticket prices expensive? Why?
Well, usually like with the fan screenings, they usually you can use your A list, but sometimes they're like excluded now, especially with like the big like Warner Brothers or Marvel movies and stuff like that. Some like Mission Impossible, you didn't necessarily need to, but it's like $25. It's like a regular IMAX ticket.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's like a regular. It's a regular IMAX ticket price, but you know.
They did that with the Batman. They gave away a comic book for when we went
to
see opening day, the fan thing or whatever it was. Yeah, but they're doing that. They might be Fantastic Four. They're going to have they're giving away like a patch. I'm assuming it's the logo. You know, the circle.
I think they should do that more often.
Yeah,
you know, especially with comic book.
Yeah. For your diehard hardcore fans, easier to convert into a book reader. Yes, do it for the opening weekend, but don't try that with the people who show up on the third weekend because it's Wednesday. The kids are out of school. Let's go see a movie.
Oh yeah.
Give me a poster too. Give me a comic and a poster.
Yes. Kat Grant was her name. Now, I don't listen. I'm red-blooded male, women, awesome. The woman body, I love it. Respect, all that good stuff. I enjoy.
Your blood is red.
Red-blooded male. Is that's the saying? Whatever. You got what I'm trying to get at, right? So that's all that.
That might be a Canadian saying.
In a family movie, I don't know what James Gunn is looking for to make her celebrate. You know, so obviously she's celebrating, and there's movement happening there. We know that she did this in the Suicide Squad, as Kate reminded me on stream last week. So I don't feel it was right, but I would like to hear the counter.
Suicide Squad? What?
Okay, the actress. I would like to hear the counter opinion on why it's okay to have all the jiggle in the movie. you know,
You didn't like the jiggle physics? You
like
didn't like the...
again,
Was it 2 hours of jiggle, or was it only like 30 seconds of jiggle? Like, I mean,
we're not taking this.
I don't got no problem with jiggle
DC
physics.
Dot
No, what
says
happened
there's
We need more
was
jiggle.
James Gunn, he took the camera and he's like, "Give me the camera for a second," and he zoomed.
We
right
need
in.
more of that.
It's just like,
That's old school Hollywood right there. Let's more jiggle.
listen,
You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna be super honest with you. It was refreshing to have beautiful women in movies again. It was refreshing to see those archetypes were making a return, and it was really interesting to me to see that at least one person has a vision to actually put people that are actually look good in movies, instead of what we've been getting.
Okay, she looked good. Fine. For every scene, she looked good and contributed at the workplace. You know, that's a good message, you know. Even the women who are very attractive, they still can contribute and they don't have to get off of their appearance. But
even the bimbo
jiggling.
sidekick was smart. Every single selfie she took had evidence of Lex's plot behind her. She was super smart. Like, even though she
That was
acted like an
brilliant,
idiot, she was actually pretty brilliant. And as for the Daily Planet chick, I forget her name because I was too busy focusing on other things. Yeah. That's just her dress style. She just dressed up like that. I mean, it's the same thing as if we put Power Girl in one of these movies, which could be made. She has a titty window. That's just how it is. Like Wonder Woman's outfits, every outfit in comic books, right, have revealing stuff for the women. This is just how it is. Look at Rogue, for instance. Mike knows what I'm talking about. Like
jiggle figures. Yep.
Look, it is what it is. And because Marvel has decided to go PC because they're Disney, this is where Warner Brothers and DC can shine. They can do darker villains. They can do lighter villains.
Okay.
They can do Mad Hatter. They can do sexualization.
How does sexualizing women who are not in a sex scene, they're just like, celebrating and having fun, how does that contribute to the media we're watching, and what are we teaching our kids?
That's America, baby. That's America.
That's not an answer. You guys are not answering.
America's ass, Killmonger. It's America's ass. You don't think they sexual? Hang on. They sexualized Thor. They sexualized Captain America. They sexualized Bucky. How many men were sexualized in Marvel? And no one batted an eye. No one gives a shit. Right? Thor: Love and Thunder. They literally stripped Thor nude in that movie.
It's because in history,
I can't answer that.
Paul.
Michael's gonna
in
go,
history,
3 minutes.
In history, women have been sexualized, fetishized more than males have been. That is why they did that. And when you have a body sculpted like Chris Hemsworth, why not? I mean, that give the women something too, so they can see something.
Terrible
and normalize
argument.
that.
Terrible argument.
No.
If you got a body like the Cat Grant actors, why not utilize that?
No. Hold on.
If you have Scarlett Johansson's body, Scarlett Johansson was peak in Iron Man 2. That's where she was peak. Peak Black Widow, her outfit was perfect, her hair was perfect, but they took it away because of the little zipper here that showed a little bit of cleavage. Guess what? Go look up Comic Black Widow right now on Google and see how many outfits she has that sexualize her. This is comic books.
Because telling you that it's common isn't answering what good it provides. You're not at all fulfilling that part. And comparing it to what they do with the men,
I'll tell you what it is.
And I don't feel like the male's body is the same as the female body. I don't find the equivalency that you do when it comes to the male comparisons. And I don't see a man, like, what would be the equivalent of, like, jiggling while you're celebrating that we did it, guys?
America's ass?
What? Have we seen a male's imprint?
That's America's ass.
That's
they
America's
ass. They make a joke about Chris Evans' ass.
Did they
make it more than once?
Did they? Yeah, while they say that, you're right. They did say those words, but they didn't.
Thor: Love and Thunder, and I'm going to get through this one.
You can't cut me off in the middle of my... You can't cut me off while I'm
giving you examples. I'm giving you examples.
But I'm trying to
I'm trying to eventually agree with you, Chill, but if you don't want to hear that, then that's fine. You continue.
You're going to agree with me?
I'm going to agree with you, yes. I don't think it's entirely necessary.
Resume?
Oh, no. You don't deserve it now because you assume just because I was saying that there's been years of sexualizing and fetishizing of females, maybe it's time for the males to have that played back on them and see exactly how it feels, or to be judged just because you might have a curvy body or whatever, like you're more than that. So Cat Grant, we didn't have. That was the one thing that probably annoyed me about Superman, was that we didn't get to see a lot of Perry White. We didn't get to see, and they even had Ron. They had Ron Troop in there. They didn't even get just that one shout out of his name, and that was it to get him to jump into the ship. So that we don't know anything about them. But if she's just there to be like the eye candy and all that, then I mean, hey,
I don't know if she is. She's talking to Lois about a relationship at one point.
Who is this? Who's Ron Troop?
He's the guy in the movie
at Daily Planet.
He's not black in the movie, though. I don't think.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
Is he?
Yeah.
Ron Troop.
He went into the ship with
I've been Ron Troop. Superman 2025.
This guy?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, not him.
No. It says two choices for. Is he in this picture, in this image here? Damn, it opened a new tab. Ignore this. Forget it, guys. Just continue talking. What's wrong with a beautiful woman? Again, that's not answering the question. They sexual Chris Evans all the time. Two wrongs make a right is not an answer to the question. The one in the future says, this movie was too James Gunn, thought the humor undercut some emotional heart, and certain characters lacked depth. I wish he would have been more specific. Who were the certain characters that lacked depth? Because unless it's Superman, Lois, or Lex, everyone can lack depth. They weren't the main characters, so I'm happy with anyone lacking some depth.
And I'm sure
I would say Creature
talking about the scene with where Clark was talking to Lois and the Justice. They were fighting the creature, whatever it was on the outside and behind them. I think he's talking about that.
The interdimensional
emotion. I didn't feel that way, but that's a lot of
with as well. He was confused by that scene. I have to be honest, I was a little confused by it, but I thought the highlight of that scene was that he was talking to Lois about the stuff, and the background stuff was kind of like put in there to be incidental, to be something that's happening in the background rather than to be.
And why would it be confusing? Because if the chemistry between Lois and Clark is strong enough, and what they're saying is something that you can feel, you can see that stuff going on in the back, but that doesn't mean that you're going to be laughing your ass off or whatever throughout the entire thing.
Wait, I just want to make sure we go back to this argument. Are you saying that she was sexualized because she had two scenes, I think, if I remember correctly, where she was wearing an outfit? It was the same scene essentially, where she was wearing an outfit where she was wearing, it was more prominent and pushing it. It was like a push-up bra essentially. That's sexualizing her?
Oh, well, when she's celebrating, and we know that, it was jiggling. We know that. That's what I mean.
But chill, she didn't really have a lot of bust. I'm sorry. Yeah. My partner has a lot of bust. But I'm saying she didn't have a lot of bust to really be jiggling, to be honest. The chicks in this movie weren't voluptuous. They weren't big titty women. They were I don't even know what scene you're talking about, to be honest.
Not even. Oh, you don't even know?
When she was celebrating? When was she
celebrating? I didn't see no BBLs.
They were inside the T craft. Can I talk on my channel? They were inside the T craft, and they were celebrating that they finally won it. And she hugged on Wendell Pierce's character, on Perry White, that one. Yeah, and that was the scene. Maybe on your second and third watch, but Perp knows what I'm talking about. It actually happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you look at her each time that you watched the movie, or were you like, all right, this is my second time watching the movie, I'm going to see the celebration over?
I didn't even see it the first time. Chill. That's
I was like, that was cool. I noticed it. Yeah, for sure.
All three times? You couldn't divert your attention? No? Okay. You wanted to fully appreciate
I like those. Them was nice. We like those.
You're like, I got to see this one in 3D now. Let's see what happens.
Oh, wait, she was in the red. Are you talking about when she was in the... No, that's in the Daily Planet.
That would be it.
Well, see,
she's in the red. Can I talk about Ma Kent and Pa Kent instead, since we haven't really touched on those guys?
We're done talking about titties?
Yeah. We talked on it too long.
She's got some, dude. Oh my God. They've got an actual comic book character version of her. I just saw it.
Where she was talking about, hey, they got it on the tube. You might want to see this. Come around here. She was... I loved it. Was really Kansas.
Good old Kansas.
Yeah. We don't get that usually, but she put it on.
Oh, well, if you're talking about Mara and Party, that was one of the scenes that I cried when he was sitting out on the porch with him. And he was like, I got teary. I didn't go, but I got teary because when he was like, I don't know, like they sent me here to destroy people, etc., etc. And then he says, "I'm proud of you." Like when he says that, "I'm proud of you."
That scene.
That was amazing.
That scene took me. It took me out of the movie for a second because I'm not accustomed to a Jonathan Kent imparting wisdom to Clark. My last experience was kind of terrible in regards to that. So
put his hands up. He put his hand up.
Should I just let him die?
I didn't know,
Maybe.
I didn't know how to process that. It was.
It's okay,
weird.
Clark.
You don't owe them anything, Clark.
Don't do it.
Smallville, Kansas was Smallville, the farm. It looked like it. They had cornfields when we saw when he was younger. That was accurate. We mean you need to visit the rest of Kansas, Dre. What you know about
Now,
Kansas?
see, I don't know how accurate this is, but somebody online said that the Kents, while the farm where they live might look like it's like, like you're from money, they're really not. And like that farm that they always show, like, might be sprawling and might have lots of land and all that, but they're not really like rich. They're like, just barely like middle class or whatever, getting by because people were talking
they struggle
about
all the way through.
people were talking about how he comes from a position of privilege or something like that, and because I guess they see the farm and they just assume that if they have all that acreage, then they must have money and stuff like that.
I do find that interesting that people
they don't have money just because they have land. That's stupid. That's a retarded take.
Like, no, that's nowhere close to Kansas, and I was born and raised in Kansas. All right.
I do find
even in the whole Smallville series, Mike. Like they talk about how they struggle for money. It's always been a struggle for money for the Kents, like because and then Luthor Corp and stuff start buying up land around them, etc. Like that happens in Smallville. It happens in like some in the comics and stuff. Like Luthor Corp comes in, and I like that it's called Luthor Corp still as well. It wasn't called Lex Corp in the movie. I thought that was an interesting thing that they left behind because usually it's Lex Corp and Lex takes over his father, but it's actually Luthor Corp in the movie, which.
That makes a difference. Why?
Well, because it's interesting to me because it means that he hasn't fully. It connotes to me that he hasn't fully taken over the company yet, or that he's like.
Because his dad is a Luthor.
Yeah, because his dad is. Well, his dad starts the company.
Yeah, they did that in Smallville, didn't they?
Yeah. He changes it to Lex Corp after that. Yeah.
Good.
After he kills his father.
it was a good line. He said he was like, they chose him, let them die. Like, and that motherfucker was cold. He was. I like Lex, man. This was great performance, man. Like the closest thing we'll get to like a live action Frieza, man, because like he has the same level of hatred as as Frieza.
He's gonna be in the post-credit scene for Superman 2. He gets out of jail, or he gets a lawyer. He gets him out, and
he's gonna get Brian Steele.
Yeah, maybe he goes galactic.
Well, wait. So you don't think he's gonna be in Superman 2?
No, he's in jail now. Let's do another villain or something creative for Superman 2, and maybe people from around the universe got to go. There was a pocket universe and a dimensional rift here. You guys are too dangerous. The Green Lantern Corps got something to say about this planet. Like, who knows?
Well,
I do think that the
Fillion's going to be on Lanterns, I believe.
Okay, see.
I do think that the first, I think the big first Justice League villain they should go against is Vandal Savage. Just how they set up, just how the whole tone of this movie was like about humanity and stuff like that, and so I think that could just be the theme of this, whole kind of first chapter.
Maybe for Justice League, I think that his first supervillain should be Brainiac.
And his last supervillain, everyone say it at the same time. The last supervillain for Superman should be 3, 2, 1. Darkseid.
Doomsday.
Okay.
I'm but now I want to see Dark. I want to see Darkseid for sure.
If they can get the Justice League off the ground, They could do a really good Darkseid movie with the rest of the.
What do we see then?
I only want to
give their projection for what happens in the future. I think Maxwell Lord had a brief little cameo here, and maybe something from here will continue in the DCU or regarding Maxwell Lord and Supergirl towards the ending. We know there's a Supergirl movie. What else happens that builds off of this movie? I can't really say. It's been pretty contained. Even the Pocket Universe, the little jail
It's
that everyone.
self-contained, yeah,
What
which is
What
great.
what
It's
I
a good direction. This is a great direction for DC. They should be doing this, where they're linked in the same universe, but they shouldn't be like, and this is going to happen next. Like, no,
Yes, they
we
should.
need self-contained movies.
We need
Self-contained
crossover.
movies. I don't want. We cannot follow the Marvel formula. Chill, it's dead.
Marvel doesn't cross
That
over.
Marvel
Marvel's
formula
been
died.
self-contained this whole phase, and it's the worst phase of all.
No, it hasn't. Every movie has relied on a television show. What are you talking about? You wouldn't understand. Hang on. We would not understand the
Thunderbolts.
the Thunderbolts without Falcon and Winter Soldier, without Hawkeye, and without WandaVision for a little bit of it. Like, you wouldn't understand without those things. Multiverse of Madness relied completely on WandaVision
I
for
give you that.
Wanda's
You're right.
things.
That's
Like,
what happened.
every
The
single
other examples
phase
I
has
wouldn't
relied
say
on
because
something
if you
else.
got to wait 3 years to build off of something, then I don't even count that as crossover. That's like it took 3 years to
No,
get
I
the
think that
Black
you can have a
Widow.
Superman movie. You can have a Supergirl movie where she deals with her own self-contained issues. You can have a Superman 2, which continues Superman. You can have a Batman movie in between there somewhere.
I don't
You
want to
can have a
go
Wonder
12
Woman
months
movie.
without seeing David Cornsett as Superman again, and I don't want to go 12 months again.
who's to say they won't also do like villain movies too? Like, yeah, keep that in consideration. They could do villain movies.
He can do whatever he wants if he's successful.
I want to.
Scary.
I think it would be so cool. I just want to see this. Like, I think this version of Lex should form the Legion of Doom and have I think that'd be dope. I think that'd be a cool like Justice
Here's
League
the
versus
story.
Legion of Doom.
So do you
If-
want them
if
to have?
they
Do
do
you
a
want them to
Batman-
have like
if they
an
do-
over? Do you want them to do what Marvel did, where they introduce a villain at the end of the movies and have them like build up to something? Or
If
do
he's
you
gonna
want
appear
them to be-
12 months later, yes, do it. But don't give me a smile or a tease, and we gotta wait 6 years.
Like
to
a whole
see
movie. Like that's what I'm saying. Like you could do villain movies. You know what I'm saying? That kind of like
But they
leads
did
up to it. So it's like
hang
kind
on,
of
hang on, hang
parallel.
on. They did that at the beginning of the Avengers. At the end of the Avengers film, they did Thanos smiling by the side, cursory like this. And we didn't see him again
I'll give
for
him a
like
pass.
how many movies?
2014.
So Ultron.
We didn't
Well,
see him
was
until
it-
Ultron. Was it when he was like, "Fine, I'll do it"? No, Guardians.
He
When he
was in
says, "Fine,
Guardians.
I'll do it myself."
Okay, yeah.
It was and again, it wasn't a full scene. It was just an end credit scene again,
All right.
and then it was another end credit scene,
I
and
mean
then
heroes.
finally Thanos.
I mean heroes. I mean people who are gonna lead a TV show and a franchise. They did it with Thanos. Maybe we can do a Darkseid too, but it'll be too similar. And maybe we don't want to copy.
Well, no, but you're building up to you. What you want? Do you? Okay.
Yeah, but if we're building up to Darkseid, it doesn't have to
Right.
be the post credit. The post credit
Well,
scene is what I want. Is
do you
to
think
lead to another
Darkseid-
TV show that happens within 12 months, not 13 months, 12 months later at least. We don't go too long without seeing our heroes like Superman, Supergirl, Mr. Terrific. If you're doing video games and animation, pop them in there too. Make them ever present and don't let me go. How long are we without seeing Thor? We haven't seen him since Love and Thunder 2022. And before that, we haven't seen him since 2019. We can't just keep taking 3 years off and 4 years off with our heroes in DC.
I just want to say.
But
Go ahead.
you got to build up. You got to build the villains though too. You got to give them good villains to fight. Also, chill.
Okay.
Okay.
You know, it would be a really good idea on the animation side of things. You know, they want to put out animated movies. I think they should take a page out of Pixar's, kind of thing, and just do like shorts that have like something to do with like a specific character or something like that. Like you could do animated shorts.
Not the Baby Groot trash that they did.
No, not like that. But like you could just like you do any little character. Like you could just do little ties, like just little mini stories that maybe tie into something down the line, stuff like that.
Because like I got an idea. DC James Gunn just needs to look at everything Marvel's done for the last 5 since Endgame actually, and do the opposite of that. That's what they need to do. Do the opposite of what Marvel's done since Endgame, and they'll succeed because they won't make trash. Because that's what the majority of it's been.
I know.
Trash.
I know you're sitting here and you're channeling Pickle and you're probably repping him, but the Baby Groot series was not trash. The Baby Groot series had a demographic of children. It was designed to get children to watch these
For
movies
demons.
and find out more about these things. There will be content that will not be directed towards you because you want to get as many people to watch your other content as possible. You know what I happened to get over the past 2 weeks? I happened to get a bunch of Superman books that were geared towards 2-year-olds, that were geared towards 6-year-olds, that were geared toward 12-year-olds. Like, so that is what you want. You can't just sit there and gatekeep these things and say, oh, you know what? I want to see tits jiggling. That's what I want to see.
I can gatekeep it. I can gatekeep it all day.
What we want is HBO Max to do a Christmas special with Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It goes down. We need Krypto to
I want to know what. I want to know what.
You know what? Hold on. Wait. Hold on. There is going to be a Deadpool Batman crossover comic, and in that crossover, there will be they're going to have like 4 different stories in there. There's going to be a Daredevil Green Arrow crossover, and there is going to be a Jeff the Land Shark and Krypto crossover in there. So you know what?
Chill. I want to know that from you. Exactly what the Marvels movie, who was that made for, do you think? It was, what demographic was that aimed towards? Yeah, the Marvels,
it was made for
it was made for fans of Captain Marvel,
Victoria
Monica,
Alonso.
And stop it. You know what? We should do a stream because I know you have issues with that because they didn't give Carol a proper part 2 or whatever.
No, it's because Secret Invasion and the Skrull stuff in that meant so much to the Captain Marvel 2 movie.
See a movie that relied on a television show.
Actually, no, I was being facetious. I'm trying to draw attention to how it didn't have much to do with it, even though Skrulls were in both, but they should have.
I'm asking you, what demographic?
Well, you know, because actually Secret Invasion popped off because of the Skrull thing.
We're not here for Secret Invasion. We're here for Superman, and we're about done. Well, I don't want to go longer than now. Hour and a half chit-chatting about the Superman stuff. That was fun. It was like the good old time, the good old days back when we used to do these with the crew. We got Daredevil and Green Arrow will cross over too. Yeah. There's gonna be a whole bunch of crossing over, and then 2 months later there'll be another one called Batman and Deadpool. You know, and
so that was DC's.
That's DC.
So hopefully DC has their comic books. They've been on a roll, so I hope that continues and. That one is just as good. I mean, because that one I think is going to be the one that has Grant Morrison writing, if I remember correctly. I don't know. I know Kevin Smith, and who else? It's God, I can't remember who the other ones are, but I know he's doing.
I don't care if you don't remember because it feels like you're getting comic booky right now, and we're in the movie space. Movies.
I'm going to say this, Chill. For the movies, I really hope that Fantastic Four is good. I don't have much hope for it, but I hope that it's good. That's what I'll say. I'm going into it with an open mind because Thunderbolts was so good for me.
Oh.
I really enjoyed that film. I give it like a 9 out of 10. But given that my expectations were so low after watching that Captain America movie, I hate that movie. But not more than Love and Thunder, but I hate that film.
Okay, you're not talking about Superman 2. Let's Perp. You want to say something?
I'm talking about comic book movies.
No.
Laying it up. I think Superman.
It's Perp's turn.
I think Superman 2025 is actually going to outlast Fantastic Four at the cinema.
You weren't gonna say that. You just wanted to redeem yourself. You're like, no, I was gonna.
I'm looking forward to Fantastic Four, but not only Fantastic Four, but Bambi: The Reckoning. That's coming out the same weekend.
Yes.
That's going to be a great. That's going to be a great double feature.
Why do they do this? Why? When I reprimand both of them, it's Perp's turn, and he's talking about Bambi in a horror movie. Because
bro, go look at that teaser and tell me that doesn't.
Superman stream. Thank you for looking at that Superman.
Popeye the Slayer Man was peak cinema, right?
It was. And did you see the?
I know my audience. They're the Superman movie audience. That's when they come here and they click on that. We got to stay on topic as hard as possible. We are gonna go different, stray, but we can't do what we're just doing right now and take their time for granted. That's not what I do here on Chillmonger. Okay.
Go see Superman. Go buy a comic book.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm gonna do it again.
Absolutely.
Superman comic book.
Oh, can I end the stream? No. We're not getting an official ending. We're just gonna, in the middle of my sentence, it's gonna somehow